Good morning. The first day of summer has at last arrived. I came down this morning and did a bit of early morning watering because the weather in the UK over the last few days has been blisteringly hot. So the plot has changed considerably in the last 6 months. And it's really starting to take off and we're starting to harvest from it. First and foremostly are the carrot radishes. So these have been amazing, really tasty, about the size of a standard UK supermarket carrot, and we use grated or sliced and roasted, so very, very tasty. Would recommend them. And if I remember rightly, their name was Lugo Rosso. In this bed as well we have got all the different types of carrots. So we've got the Chantilly, the Nanty, we've got white, we've got purples, mixed heritage. They do need thinning out, as you can see, so I will start to do that soon. Moving across to the shallots, they are splitting really well, so we're going to have a great produce of them. And over the Germa shallots. The sweet peas, these ones aren't doing as well as the ones in the front garden, but there is limited sun here in the vegetable plot. Not ideal for vegetables, but we'll see how we go. It is our first year here. Rhubarbs, absolutely smashing. The temptation to pull some of the rhubarb, I have to say, especially when your mother drops off a rhubarb tart recipe. But I can't, it's their first year and we know the rules. All us gardeners know the rules. If it's its first year, don't harvest from it. Let the strength go into the roots. Potatoes, the earlies are doing fabulously well, and I have topped them off with a mulch of grass clippings. Living here we have loads of grass clippings, so it's being used in several places as a thick mulch. The 2 sowings of parsnips failed. The third, amazing. So this is one of the thirds, and then over, you just sit by the watering can there, parsnips there, doing really well. So the compost bins are now home to the pumpkins. So this is now the pumpkin patch. I've shaded them because they were in full sun for most of yesterday, and it did make them a bit wilty under there. So I think 15 pumpkin plants in total, leaving this compost bin for us to top up and use. Sorry if I'm making you a bit dizzy. Right, the rest of the potatoes. So these are the Nicola. And again, doing really well. Potato sacks for these, and then these are in just any old Hessian sacks that I've got kicking around. The herbs, the dill, the coriander, are doing really, really well. I'm going to have to thin out the dill because we know what they're like. They're a bit fuggish. And the later potatoes are there. And again, still doing really well, but being greedy. Greedy for water, greedy for food. A makeshift cage. So little ratties, mice have been in, pigeons have been in. But so far, my makeshift cage is saving all of the products. We've got the purple kale, no it's not, it's the purple Brussels sprouts here, the heritage ones. We've got the chard, which is starting to put some beautiful colour in, with lettuces and spinach. Now again, I'm not sure what's going on with my spinach, so it does look like it's starting to bolt. I'm going to try and nip out the flower heads and see if I can save that. That should be the perpetual spinach. No, yes it is, yeah. And it's bolting, and I don't want that. The rocket over the other side, we've got a flower spike on that, but that has been delicious. Really, really tasty. At the front we've got the third sowing of the runner beans. At the front here, these ones are the first sowing. They all got hit by the frost. Then you've got the second sowing here that got hit by the frost. And then the ones at the back are the ones my mum gave me, which are ones that we're putting at a better time. So starting to do really well, and there's a few flowers coming. In the front we've got the celeriac, and they are looking really lush, and so far, fingers crossed, seem to have avoided being eaten by the pigeon. Beautiful nasturtium, this one. I didn't even know I'd sown this one with the variegated leaves, and then the sunflowers going up through. What I tend to do with my sunflowers is nip the top out and then have lots and lots of little flowers that I can put in vases. So this is where I caught the rat this morning, having a look at these chards over here, and they do look like they've had a bit of a nibble. So I'm going to have to set my humane rat trap. Well, when I say it's humane, it doesn't, it just kills them by breaking their neck. But I'd rather use that than poison. Sorry if I offend anyone, but I'm not going to use poison in the garden. And I'm not going to let the blighters go at another location. I'm sure they've got a way of getting home, because they always seem to appear back in the garden. Sunflowers doing really well. Under here we've got the black kale. So again, shaded from the sun yesterday. Now, I had this weird idea when we first moved in that this part of the vegetable patch would be cut flowers. So I put some of my gladioli in here, and then realised I had hardly any room for vegetables, so gladioli moved onto the garden. Now these are the Shiraz peas. I'm just gobsmacked by the beauty of these flowers. They are like sweet pea flowers. I'm just gonna have a sniff. No scent to them, but they are just stunning. Now these pods are meant to be the colour of Shiraz wine, which will be the reddy colour of the flowers that we've got here. But really doing well. And then behind there I've got more celeriac, which I tend to like grated into salads or roasted. Just delicious. If you've never had it, buy one and try. It is a like it or love it. No, that's wrong, isn't it? Marmite. Like it or hate it. Vegetable. At the back we've got the thornless blackberries, and then coming through we've got the second sowing of the shallots. These were given away free at my work, and they have started to split. In actual fact, I prefer these. They haven't gone so leggy in the green, and they seem to have split a bit more, so maybe sowing them that bit later was a better idea. The garlic absolutely romping away. I can just about see some rust starting, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on those and get those lifted. The onions doing really well. Sometimes you forget how long these crops have to stay in the ground, and you get really impatient because you just want to get other ones in and started. I've got sweet corns here, looking a bit weedy, but they'll be fine. And the back here we've got curly kale, and at the front it really helpfully says beans. They're not beans, well they are beans, but I can't remember which beans they are. That does say broad beans, but they're not broad beans. I think they are French beans. There is a label somewhere, and you can see the shard at the front here has been nibbled a bit. And this is a yellow, excuse me, a yellow French bean. Oh, it's going to be a blistering day here in the UK. In the cold frame I've got some salad that is waiting to go out, or I have this cunning plan of filling this with compost and using it just as a lettuce bed. The fennel here is waiting to go out, and that was from a second sowing. My first sowing came to nothing. There's some teacup cosmos here waiting to go out, and then these are the littler lupins. The larger ones have already gone out, and then I will get these out over this week. Let's take a step back and just look at these strawberries. I think they have done amazingly for their first year. I mean, the flowers, but they are unprotected at the moment, and every day I promise I'm going to build a fruit cage, because look at this, look at the blueberries. and I can feel the threat getting closer. And every day I come down here, there is some pesky critter having a look. They've had the gooseogs, but luckily they've had the leaves off the gooseberries. Again, this is first year gooseberries. I may have to just rub them off. What to do? Leave a note in the comments if you think I should be brave and not eat them. Right, the courgettes, this was looking stunning until we had those awful winds and rains of about 5-6 days ago, and the wind has shredded them. The wind was like ice, and I think, if I remember correctly, we even had hail. Oreo come over to say hello. I don't know if you can see him back there, and then yeah, head down and he's eating again. Potatoes back here doing incredibly well. I use incredibly well quite a lot because everything is doing incredibly well. This is the curly kale again. These ones are put in earlier than the ones I've just shown you. Wow. Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited. I mean, this is my first year on this plot and it's just doing really, really well. Under here is chard, and then coriander root. There's one that hasn't been covered up, and that produces a taproot like a carrot, and you can use the whole thing. This micromesh is brilliant. It's meant to stop all sorts of beasties getting through, but I need to lift it and shake off these seed heads from the tree up above. And then some things are really struggling in here. I think the cold of a couple of weeks ago got to the seeds, so I may have to do a second sowing of the radish in there. Look at these lettuces. These are delicious as well. We've been taking off the odd leaves, a mix of them, and trying to just keep them successionally producing. Just been delicious. You can see the stems of these chards. Wow, they're going to be so beautiful, aren't they? So beautiful. Take a walk around. The chickens are doing well, although one is looking poorly this morning. I think she's egg bound, so I need to have a look at that.